as I said, in many tablets, hundreds and thousands of tablets, talk about the same sets of events, the same place to place, so forth, over thousands of years that were taking place, and happening to the human race and to the people of that part of the world, and not only of that part of the world, but also to do with the origins of humankind, who we are as a species, why we're here, where do we come from, who created us, about planet Earth and the creation of planet Earth, and many of the stories, in fact, all the have their origin in the Sumerian tablets. And then when you get to the Bible, they often get reduced to one line or one or two lines or a few lines. And then while in the Sumerian original forms, they sometimes are extended stories of what really happened, mentioning individuals by name and so forth. For example, we have the biblical Adam is actually called in Sumerian tablets is Adamu, and so it goes. And story of flood, and Noah and the flood, except in the Sumerian tablets, Noah, Sudra, and then we have the creation of of Eve from Adam's rib, and the essence of his rib in the Sumerian tablets. It tells us in great detail how Adam was put into a deep sleep, and how the essence was taken out of his rib, and then his partner Eve was created for him so they could procreate. So what's interesting, just talking about that, for example, is that in the Bible used to one line, while in the Sumerian tablets it gives you great detail as to how much trouble and how much effort these people had to go to try and clone or try and create the Eve from the essence of Adam. And it's fascinating to see that whoever these people were that were creating this new species called Homo sapiens had a plan, and it didn't happen overnight. It's possible that this whole process of creating Eve out of Adam's essence took several thousand years. So, which is a profound discovery, which means that there will be some human skeletons that we find on Earth, when we find them, that will only have 22 pairs of chromosomes and not 23 pairs of chromosomes like we have at the moment. Because remember, the 22 pairs of chromosomes are the chromosomes that hold the DNA, and then there's a 23rd one, which is really the sex chromosome, the Y chromosome in men and the X chromosome in females. And that's why we can procreate. And so when you start reading the Sumerian tablets and really listening to what they're telling you, it tells you an incredible story of humankind, who we are, where we come from, why we're here, who created us, and the fact that gold plays an absolutely crucial role in all of human history. It is inseparable from human origins and human history, is absolutely spectacular. So you must excuse me, I think my dogs are going crazy in the backyard for some reason. So if you hear lots of dogs barking, it's because
oh, it's okay.
Having a good bark at the neighbor's dogs.
Yeah. I was watching a YouTube. It's about 15 parts long. I think I forget the name of it. It was a little interview that someone was giving to you in South Africa, and you had some kind of birds chirping or something in the background. And you had to go swat them away or something. What kind of birds were those?
That's interesting because those are actually ibis. We call them hardidas here, hardidah birds. But they're actually part of the ibis bird family, which is the same bird as became very popular and famous or sacred in Egypt. The ibis, the Egyptian ibis.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. It's exactly the same kind of bird. They're quite big birds. They're beautiful birds.
Okay. Hey, back to the Adam and Eve. This is why I found your research fascinating, because you put it in such great detail where it's easy to understand, like in your work. And also have your book ordered right now. It should be coming in within a week or so. But do you believe Adam was metaphorically speaking as a race, like a Adamic race of beings?
Yeah, definitely. There's a very clear description of what color Adam was, and most likely what race group he belonged to, because the Sumerian tablets talk about when Adam or Adamu came out and was born. The Sumerian Enki talks about Adam being born and having short, curly black hair and reddish, smooth red skin, just like the color of the African soil, which is fantastic. You know, that gives us a very good description. Now, what's very interesting about that is that the Khoisan people, or the Bushmen of South Africa, refer to themselves as the red people. Okay, and many people aren't aware of this. And we know from genetic studies that the Khoisan, or the Bushman people, are the oldest race that we can find of humans on Earth genetically. And it seems that they are the progenitors of all humans on Earth. And then that the other race groups emerged and evolved. Adamu, offsprings of Adamu, or Adam.
Yeah. And how does, because Eve has to be some kind of, metaphorically speaking, and I'm just a little confused about what is it? Was Eve a race too, or what was Eve?
Eve, simply.
Cutting out a little.
Is it Michael?
Yeah, I'm here. You're just cutting out just a little
right.
bit. Can you explain about Eve a little bit? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, no, it's very clear that Eve was just created as for create. Now, let's just backtrack a little bit. Okay, I think it's important to just try and get a broad picture of here, because so here you got a bunch of people. Your listeners would have seen the movie Avatar, right?
Yes.
And pretty much, what we see in Avatar is a metaphor of what happened here on Earth.
I totally agree.
And many of the movies that we've actually seen throughout the years, if you start researching the black ops, the black operations, and especially in the U.S. government, where all the money is going to, and other countries, and the black operations that are funded by the government agencies and so forth, all of those things are true. And they do so, they hide these things successfully, and one of the ways they hide them is by putting it in plain sight, in plain view, right in our faces. So what they do is they leak out enough information in some way. I'm not quite sure how they do this, but enough information to people in certain circles, who then go and turn these into movies. Star Trek is probably the best example by far, because it's been going on and running for so long. I think it's been going on for 40 years now, Star Trek, isn't it?
I think it has been, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and yet when you look at the scientific knowledge and information that is written into the script of Star Trek and the activities, it boggles the mind. And Stargate is another one. Contact, the movie Contact, is absolutely brilliant. Everything that you see in the movie Contact is absolutely true. All special black ops projects that have been put out, shoved in our faces as a fantastical Hollywood movie. So when you go out there and you tell people about, going into time space, from space time into time space, and traveling through time, and there's this big, huge thing with these spinning wheels, and this is how they do it. And there's a cube that you sit in, and there's a floating chair inside the cube, inside a icosahedron, and so forth. So when you start telling people this, and they tell you, oh, "Come on, man, that's a bloody movie. That's Contact, the movie." Little do they know that that's actually pretty much the real truth.
Okay.
So these are very interesting things. I'm not sure why I started talking about this. I completely lost my train of thought.
It's all fascinating. Like everything within your research is fascinating. And for all the listeners